Hello, fellow grievers. This episode, we're going to talk about how prayer can feel impossible after a loss. So, welcome back to the podcast, everybody, or welcome for the first time if you're new here. But oftentimes, when we go through a loss, and it doesn't even have to be a death related loss, it can be a job that we loved and we were blindsided because you were fired or your position got cut, or it can be a relationship that you really thought you had a deep connection with this person and you were a really good friend with them, and then that's gone and they moved on, and we can feel just such a betrayal and hurt, and that can be hard then to pray or to want to pray. So that's what we're going to talk about this episode, is how it can feel even often impossible. Okay. And then when we feel like it's hard to pray, since a lot of times, if you're here, you probably have some sort of faith base or some relationship with God, right? And so when we've had that, and then it feels like there's something in the way, it feels impossible, we can also then feel guilt on top of that. We can feel guilty and like, well, maybe I'm not a good enough person. Maybe my faith wasn't strong enough. And I just want to reassure you that it's not that your faith isn't strong enough, because I think that's what runs through our mind, right? Like I'm not faithful enough. I wasn't a good enough Christian. I wasn't good enough Catholic. Like this wouldn't be happening. But it would be happening because it is happening, because God allowed it to happen. And so, even just living through that is faith. It's walking that journey of being like, okay, Lord, I don't know the why. I don't understand. I'm even sometimes mad that this is happening, but I'm going to keep leaning on you. And even when it's clunky or awkward, I'm going to keep showing up. And knowing too that we don't have to have the right words. I know I talked about this somewhat the last episode too, but prayer can be just sitting in silence. It can be really pouring your heart and your feelings and your mind out to the Lord. And it can just be like sitting in that. It can be wondering why, right? Like I always think like we kind of have this hidden belief that if our faith is strong enough, we won't question it, or we shouldn't be angry with God. And I think, like, why? Why shouldn't we question it? The things that we question are the things that we learn more about and we dive deeper into. So that should be the same with our faith, right? We should question it, because then it'll lead us to diving deeper and understanding just a little bit more. And so just knowing again, like that draws you closer to the Lord, the questions. It doesn't draw you farther away. And I should say it can, if we're putting up a wall, right? If we're truly being open, those answers will come. If we're going in expecting a certain answer, we're probably not going to get that. But knowing again, we can always come back, we can always start again, and we can always start by just sitting with the Lord, just sitting in silence, maybe even crying or just breathing. Sometimes it's just like holding a rosary. I'll do that like when I can't sleep, just holding a rosary brings me comfort. It helps me just feel Mary give me a hug. I don't even have to say anything. I don't even have to start praying the rosary. Knowing that God's not offended by the quiet, He is the quiet. Like in the Bible, we're like, I think, is it Jeremiah? I can't remember. But he's looking for God, right? He's looking for God in the hurricane and in the winds and in the storm and in the, I think, I don't know, all the things, right? And then he finds out, oh, God's in the silence. So we don't need to be scared of the silence or feel like, again, we're doing something wrong by just sitting there and just being. And Jesus knows our pain because when Lazarus died, he wept. He felt that. Again, I often correlate it to Jesus in the garden before he was going to go be killed. He was in such agony and pain that he sweated blood. And so God knows what we're going through. Jesus lived that. He knows that pain. And all we have to do is just, so a lot of times I'll picture myself, like I'll sit in adoration, I'll be there and I'll just close my eyes and I'll just picture Jesus sitting next to me and I'll just lay my head on his shoulder. That's a prayer. Just being with him. That's what he's asking us to. And so, a couple more practical things this week, really a little bit more tangible, right? That you can pick one and come back to, or like, okay, I did that and that didn't really work. I'm going to try this one next. So, again, it can be something physical, right? Like to hold a rosary or to light a candle or to have a crucifix and sit in front of it, right? Like having something tangible can help your mind focus a little bit more, okay? And knowing that you don't have to say a word, but just having those things can just be a start. Another good thing to do is do the prayers that you learned growing up, right? So having the Our Father, or you could even Google Psalms that when you're in suffering, okay, like those things help us because we don't have to think of the words to say. Those are just the prayers that we have memorized or that we can go and read, that we don't have to come up with something. Another thing you can try is just having a short go-to phrase that you can come back to. So a big one for me when my mom died was Jesus, I trust in you, because my mom had a good devotion to the Divine Mercy and Saint Faustina and the Divine Mercy Chaplet. And so a lot of what my prayer was for the first, I don't know, 3 months maybe, was just Jesus, I trust in you. Jesus, I trust in you. And that was just a really good one that helped me because I didn't have to think of anything, but it also helped me connect to Jesus when I like felt my thoughts spiraling, or when I would wake up in the middle of the night and I didn't know what to do. It was just, okay, Jesus, I trust in you. Another one can just be like Jesus. And I think a prayer is just like the Jesus prayer where you just say Jesus, 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 right? Like you just say his name. So just having a short go-to phrase can really help. It helps you not having to think or come up with the right thing. Another one is, again, silence. Just sitting in silence. And again, maybe that's where you have like the tangible thing, right? Like the crucifix or a candle that you can just look at, or a rosary, close your eyes, just sit. It's like silence. And I like to picture that Jesus is near me. A lot of times I'll picture Mary and knowing that she's giving me a hug and just like taking my pain to Jesus because she's my mother. So, of course, she wants to help me. And so I just sit in silence and just sit with that, an image, or again, the phrase, Jesus, I trust in you. So, pick one of those, just start short and start small. And knowing, again, you can come back to this, you can try different ones, see what works, what doesn't work. Maybe something worked last week and now it's like, yeah, that's not helping anymore. So knowing this is going to fluctuate and it's going to change. So with that, I invite you to go to catholicgriefcoach.com and sign up for your free grief consult call with me, and we'll talk through these things and I will help you know what the next step is. Right? So God bless everybody. You are so loved, and we'll take the next steps together. God bless.